What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It's so weird because here in Vegas, it is 6:17 a.m., which means that I've been up a lot earlier if you just want to refer to Vegas time for at least a couple of hours. Actually, to be honest with you, it's been at least 2.5, almost 3 hours that I've been up. So Vegas time, I've been up since like 3 o'clock in the morning or sometime around the 3 o'clock hour. And that's why a lot of times when you go on the Anton Daniels channel, when you see some of these videos that drop, and it drop at the regular time. So I had one that dropped at like 8 a.m. this morning Eastern time. There's nobody around. And there's benefits to that. The first benefit is that you don't have a whole lot of people around, so you could just create content and get it popping. Um, but then at the same time, you know, you still got to try to adapt to whatever time is happening over here on the West Coast. So my train of thought is that I just try to stay 100% on East Coast time. And so everything I do, I got one phone that's on East Coast time and then the other phone that kind of references what's happening here just in case I have something that I need to take care of here or an event. I can kind of pay attention to it. So what's going on, y'all? How y'all feel? Y'all said morning time is a good time to meditate. It's good to meditate time and time to yourself. I agree. I agree. What's going on, friends and family? Yeah, CES has been cold out here. It's been dope. Um, we got a full show for you guys today, so lock in for the next 2 hours. We don't want to spend a whole lot of time on each subject because, again, we have to take care of business. We got stuff to do today. I have to hit these Vegas streets. Again, CES is here, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm out here. Got invited, and so that's absolutely awesome. But we want to add value to y'all, and we definitely don't miss. So the one thing about the bag chasers is that we are consistent. We don't miss. It don't matter where we are in the country. It don't matter where we are in the world. We are consistent. So again, I got a full show for you guys today. We're gonna talk about a couple of different takes on this Joy Taylor situation with people that are closer to it. I wanted to evaluate, and I haven't looked at it yet, Jason Whitlock's um, thoughts on the situation. I see that Stephen A. Smith also spoke on his former pal and buddy, Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharp, obviously, he had talked about yesterday how it ain't got nothing to do with him. That's going to be on the Anton Daniels channel. Tonight, we got After Hours. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm going to see if Mika is still hosting that. And we going to go from there. So, shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in. Shout out to everybody that continues to rock out with the Millionaire Morning Show. If you notice, we pushed the show up a little bit earlier, like I said that we was. And so we're gonna try to stay in between 9 and 9:30 today. We did 9:15 Eastern. It seems that's probably the most ideal time now and going forward in the future, sometime between the 9 and 9:30 o'clock, 9:30 time frame. And so hopefully that works out for everybody, regardless of where you at in the United States of America and the world. If not, you can always restream it. We throw the timestamps into it so you can find what you're looking for. And it's awesome. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to ESDC on Cash App, always supporting the platform. I appreciate you. And I also want to give a shout out to my dog Mike, that dude. Thank you guys for supporting me on the platform. You here regardless. Hey Wyatt, what up to sister? What up to everybody in the chat? The show last night, the Q show, was absolutely fun and awesome. Shout out to everybody that was tapped in with us. Shout out to all of the panel members that get it popping. And I also want to read this super chat really quickly. First super chat of the day says, Pine Sol Innocent says, morning AD and the Chasers and the family. Let's get it and have another productive day. Shout out to you. Yeah, let's get it, big dog. I'm with that. I'm with that. Like we always do, we got to start the show off with prayer. All right. So let's go ahead and throw a quick prayer up. We're gonna get it popping. We're gonna lock in for 2 hours straight. We're gonna try to stay within that 2 hour time frame today, because we do have to take care of business. And then we're gonna go from there. Lord, we help. Lord, we help. Lord, we ask you to be with us today. Bless the show not to only be entertaining, but also edifying. Continue to be with each and every person that's watching this, regardless of where they are and what they're doing. Add value into their life. Also, bless us to word our mouths, guide our footsteps, and everything that we do. Bless it to be based off of what's best for you. And then let us be the beneficiaries of your greatness. And we ask everything in Jesus' name. All right. So we're not gonna have no tomfoolery today, because we got started with the prayer early instead of after quick hits. But I wanna talk about this real quick and say I can get you a list. I'm originally from Florida, living in Georgia. Okay, I see y'all. Y'all having the conversations inside of the chat. I want to talk about something really quickly. So at first, I wasn't even going to have a conversation about it, but I do want to have a conversation about it really quickly, and I don't want to spend any more than 10 minutes having a conversation about it, because people like Q and the people that's closest to me often at times say that I have a problem with slowing down and taking my time with celebrating my milestones. Yesterday, middle of the day, I crossed over the 500,000 subscriber mark, which for me in my mind is wild. It's absolutely wild. My goal was to get 1,000 subscribers when I first started this journey, because in my mind, you can fill up one of these little small venues with 1,000 people, and 1,000 people is a lot of people, right? And that's on the Anton Daniels channel. And so if you look at it combined, it's over 900,000 subscribers across all channels. Okay. Um, but people like milestones and they like that 500,000 mark. And the reason that I'm not celebrating, I'm acknowledging it. I'm thankful for it. I'm really blessed as a result of it. Very few content creators, very, very few. If you look at the percentage of channels versus the people that actually do some work, very few people can get there off long form content, no shortcuts, um, no finessing, no none of that. But you just doing great things, and you continue to grow, especially in an even more competitive field and in a space. To see the growth that I've had over the last over my entirety of being on here is nothing short of blessed and awesome. And I just want to acknowledge y'all and say that I couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are the greatest of all time. But more importantly, I said that after I had crossed 100,000 subscribers, or maybe it was 200,000 subscribers. Maybe it was on this channel. But after I had crossed 100,000 subscribers on the Anton Daniels channel, I said that I wasn't going to do any celebrations. So we're not going to have no big blowout. We're not going to, I see y'all in the chat. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Um, you said it's not 900,000 subscribers. Most of us are subscribed to both. Um, well, Nicole, and this is one of the reasons why I decide that I don't want to celebrate publicly. I celebrate privately with the people that really care for me and the bag chasers, because I own more than just two channels. So it's not just both. I own four channels. And that doesn't even include the channels that I own that you don't know that I own because they faceless, or I do support other content creators that I have a partnership in that channel. So, for example, I have over 64, almost 65,000 subscribers on After Hours. If you just go combined off the Anton Daniels channel as of the recording of this video, which is over 500,000, and this one is which is over 315, that's 815. And then you throw in the 65,000 that subscribe to After Hours, that's 880. Room 9 got over 44,000 subscribers. So, you know, why is it always somebody that um try to rain in on your parade? Why is it all this is why I learned to celebrate in private. And even some of the things that I've purchased or the things that I'm excited about, honest to God, I've been more careful about what I share online. And I don't talk about everything anymore because even the people that say that they for you, they really ain't really for you. They want to humble you. People want to humble you. They want to, you know what I'm saying, lower you. They want to somehow try to keep you contained. And honestly, I think that a lot of it comes from jealousy. A lot of it comes from a lack of in their own lives. When I see people that want to see you fail and they're not authentically trying to have a conversation with you, people are trying to humble you. But we not even on that type of energy this year because everything is going so well and life is such a blessing. Um so, we just want to continue to be authentic, have great conversations, and we're not going to do no celebrations unless we get to a million. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to prevent myself from being focused on the real goals and the real things that we're trying to accomplish. Um, I don't want to slow down and get comfortable. I want to get more into my bag. I want to focus on the things that we investing in. I want to focus on ad growth. I want to focus on dropping some more videos inside of the Patreon. I heard somebody, for example, they was trying to hold me accountable and they was saying that I sell courses. I've never sold a course in my entire life. Most of the people that will criticize you, they have no clue about you. I lead with prayer every single day. The foundation of who I am in every conversation and every debate that I've ever had in person is based off of God's principles, the things that we stand on. You see what I'm saying? But you guys got to stop focusing on the negative. You can't. I like to interact because I think that it's great for content. I think that it's great for views and stuff like that. And also, I look at the chat as my co-host. But most people are clout chasing. Most people are clout chasing. Most people want what you have. And instead of them asking on how it is that you got there, they would rather clout chase. And for what? It's a bigger bag on that side. And then you know what the funniest part about people is that, and let me just do my little 500K rant. They'll say, it ain't always about money. It ain't always about money. You a liar. You're a liar. I can't stand when people try to say, "Oh man, we ain't in this to get rich." Then what you working for? Everybody is in it to get the most that they can possibly get. That don't mean that you can't add value. That don't mean that you can't have great conversations. That don't mean that you got to lose your integrity. But when people try to justify themselves and say, "Oh man, it ain't about the money," shut the hell up. Everybody that's on this platform that's having conversations is trying to get monetized. The reason that you on YouTube is because you're trying to get monetized and maybe you'll have some great conversations. Maybe you'll add value, but I can't stand people that are jealous and disingenuous about what the fuck they trying to do here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse. I know this is the Millionaire Morning Show. I know that y'all be having me on in these places, but let's just have a real conversation. People are so capped. They're so capped. You want the most subscribers, you want the most watch time, you want to blow up, you want to be famous, and you want the money. What you go to work for every day if it ain't for money? I just only want to make a certain amount. No, you want to make the most that you can possibly get. I've never seen somebody sit at the negotiating table and say, "Hey man, you paying me too much money. Give me less." It's so cap. It's so cap. Anton is always talking about the bag. What we supposed to be talking about then? What you want to talk about? Anton is always telling people how you get the bag. Anton is always showing his receipt. Okay, so if I didn't show my receipts, then you would say it was cap. But I show my receipts so that you can actually see the truth, and then they get jealous at it and say, well, that's a problem. You can't live your life for what you think people are bothered by. And let's be clear, 98, 99% of most people, they love it. And you know what the funniest part about it? At 500,000 on the Anton Daniels channel, we had over 5,000 that was in the chat that was watching it on a regular basis. If people don't like you so much, why do they watch you every day? For people that I don't like, for people that I absolutely don't like, I don't watch them. I may not necessarily agree with them, but I can absolutely tell you that they're entertaining. I think that Umar Johnson is the funniest, one of the best content creators that you have on social media. Do I think that he be finessing his female viewers? Absolutely. But the one thing that you'll never hear me say is that he is not great for content and that he is not a good content creator. I think more than ever, more than being a leader, more than being, blackety black, however he decide to monetize his platforms and get his bags, I think that he is hilarious. He is one of the funniest people to look at from a content. He is entertaining. That's what these platforms are. They're entertainment. What you here for? I don't know nobody that has the ability to monetize that choose not to monetize. So what I say is, okay, well listen, if there's money out there to get, let's have a conversation about how you can get the most of it. Because if we gonna do it, we gonna do it to the greatest of our ability. We're not just gonna halfway it. Even the word of God with the whole talents, right? The ones that was the most productive, God took it away from the person that was just sitting there trying to bury their talents and say, hey, I just got a 1-for-1. He wants you to be productive. He wants you to get the most out of it and extract the most out of whatever it is that you got going on. What we talking about? What we talking about? 100%. 100%. Somebody said before bro, if I show my W-2s, you would throw up if you seen how much I was making in corporate America. I show my real estate money, you would throw up. You would throw up. Listen, in real estate alone, we make over $44,000 a month in revenue. 44,000, no mortgages. The only thing we pay is insurance and property taxes. You would throw up. We bag chasers. Chasers. And I show all of my receipts. I show all of my deposits. I show everything that's in my bank account. The one thing that you can't say is not that I'm not transparent. But because you don't know, because you ain't in the bag chasers, because people are dusty, you will spite your nose. You will cut off your nose to spite your face. You would rather not, thinking that you heard me, because let's be clear. I heard somebody they said, Anton just want this one guy to join his Patreon. Boy, don't you know we got almost 14,000 Patreon members? No, no, no. Listen, your one non-subscription does not hurt me. We have I have the biggest Patreon on Patreon. I have over 14,000. I have upcoming sponsorships that is insane based off of the numbers that I did last year. You can't hate your way to the top. You can't hate your way to the top. The question that I ask when I see somebody successful is I say, hey man, how did you do it? Or teach me the game. Or what is it that I have to do to put myself in a position to win? I don't. What does it benefit me to then say to somebody, "Oh man, you just got it"? Don't my hating on him don't lower his lifestyle. He's still gonna win. He been winning for a decade. Why would I? All that do is prevent me from getting the information that I need in order to continue to add it to my brand. Somebody says throw up. Man, who cares who you helping? Not you. Not you. Your name is Hound Gang, ENT. You subscribed just to be able to say that. I'm not giving nobody nothing no more. Every single year, I've had an Invest in Your Business series where I've gave out tens of thousands of dollars. I have tens of employees. I'm not gonna justify who I'm focused on. Everybody that worked for me, they get a bag. Everybody is successful. Every one of my tenants I've never raised rent on. Who you helping? Who you? Because I'm certified. My receipts is my proof is in the pudding. Who you helping though? How many people you employ? How many people you put on? How many businesses have you invested in? How many community centers have you built? How many campaigns have you given to? Because I've given literally millions of dollars out. How many people you put on? How many people have you made millionaires? Because I've made people millionaires. They in the chat right now. Who y'all talking to? Who you talking to? My homies who's passed away, and I'm not gonna say their names, I still send money to their mothers. I take care of my dead homies' mothers. I take care of my dead homies' mothers. While everybody else is talking, I really do it in real life. It's plenty of people in this chat right now who has gotten grant money from me. I didn't take any equity into their business. They gave me a pitch. I sent the money in order for them to be able to start their business or continue to promote their business. Let's work, y'all. Now is not the time for us to rest on our laurels and give ourselves awards and accolades for reaching over a 500,000 subscribers. Let's work. It's a lot of people that's gonna talk tough. But the reason why people love me and the reason why the bag chasers are so loyal to me is because we real. Is because we real. And now they listen, go ahead and get on with the show. They want to rush me on my own platform that I created to get on with my own show. I should just end it right now, to be honest with you. I should just end it. Let me think about this for a minute. Somebody time out Tyree Ballard. No, we not gonna end it. I thought about it. you do you really think that you got that much power to make me end my own show? Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon link is in the description. If you've been here for the first time, hit a like for the algorithm. I got you there, didn't I? You really thought that was gonna happen? Never. And then make sure if you've been here more than once, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and turn on your notifications so that you know that when we go live every single morning, weekday, Monday through Friday. Y'all ready to get on with the show? All right, let's get it popping. First things first, quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to. We don't necessarily think that we need to. Um, dedicate an entire segment to it, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. All right. So first things first, a teenage girl was gruesomely attacked and she was held in her basement. And this is over in Akron, LeBron's hometown. Let's get it popping.
A teenage girl gruesomely attacked, kidnapped, beaten, stripped, and robbed. Thankfully, she was somehow able to escape and find help. First at 4, Brittany Ware's Live shares how police are working right now to find her attackers, Brittany.
This story is just horrible and sickening. A 19-year-old girl was lured to a home by people that she considered to be her friends. Now police are determined to find everyone involved in this vicious attack.
Akron 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yeah, I just picked a young lady up. She was walking down the street naked. She said somebody jumped in and robbed her. I got her in the car here. I'm pulling over the BP right here so she can get out the car. She's butt naked. She has nothing on.
This is the 911 call.
I got you, innocent. I'm just messing with you. Y'all gotta let me do my thing. I gotta get y'all emotionally involved in the show.
To Akron police on December 27th, just after midnight. A Good Samaritan said he saw a young girl walking naked on East South Street.
That's crazy.
When he pulled over to help, he saw she was severely beaten.
Looked like she got blood on her face.
According to Captain Michael Miller with the Akron Police Department, the teenager was lured to a home on Beardsley Street. While there, she says 3 people held her captive in the basement and violently attacked her. And if that wasn't enough, the horrific ordeal was recorded.
A lot of facial head trauma, injury, bleeding. It's very gut-wrenching to watch that video.
The young girl was eventually able to escape, running out of the home without any clothes on, and find help.
Thank you so much for helping her.
Oh, my God. I got daughters.
Thank God that we have, a community out there, people that care enough to try to step in and give some aid and help.
Akron police say they did arrest one girl, Kendall Worthy, in connection with this attack. She's being held in the Summit County Jail, and her bond is set at $100,000. However, officers say there are more people they need to track down.
This may not even, in fact, be limited to just the 3 people that participated in the assault. There may have been some other people with some knowledge or perspective about this. The detectives may
tell y'all kids to stay away from these degenerates. I know y'all want to have y'all kids be a part of the streets or, have some sort of connection and all of that. Nah, raise your kids in environments with kids that got stuff to lose. If you raising your kids in an environment where a bunch of kids ain't got nothing to lose, but you got morals and standards, you need to get the hell up out of that, because every last one of them kids is going down. Even the ones that just wanted to be a part of the in crowd and the end game, because a lot of them is influence. I believe, honestly, in my heart, because if you strip a chick naked and you gruesomely attacking that girl was going to die. They absolutely was going to kill her. And they was videotaping it. Tell your kids to get away. You better start holding your kids accountable. Kick their butt so that when they go out to school, they don't deviate away from y'all teachings. Because every last one of them kids that's a part of it, and they all going to tell, all of them is going to catch cases. And all of them is going to ruin their lives, all right? In addition to that, a woman was arranging a homicide in Milwaukee. Check it out.
New at 9, a Milwaukee family wants justice after police say their loved one was killed in a murder-for-hire plot this past November.
Fox 6's Bria Jones joins us here with how investigators say this plot was revealed on jailhouse recordings.
Read the super chat shortly.
That's right, Ben and Kim. Prosecutors have now charged 25-year-old Ashanti Davis with solicitation of first-degree intentional homicide. Now the search is on for whoever pulled the trigger, killing Burnell Hall.
She was obsessed with want to have a child by him.
A fatal attraction is what Nicole Hall says cut her son Burnell Hall's life short at 29. His on and off again girlfriend, 25-year-old Ashanti Davis, is now accused.
These girls be living such a tough life. They look every bit of 38 going on 40. Every bit of 38 going on 40. They said that woman is 25 years old. Could have fooled me.
Of arranging his killing.
I had told him like 9 months ago, you need to stop communicating with her.
Cut her off.
She wasn't right.
Hall's worst nightmare came true on November 1st. Milwaukee police say her son, Burnell Hall, was gunned down near 87th and Carmen just after 1 a.m. behind this building. His sister, Diane, rushing to the scene.
But I see the yellow tape. So then that's how I know, that's how I knew, he was gone.
According to the criminal complaint, Davis told them she and Hall were in a parked car when 2 masked men tried to rob them. She said as she ran away, she heard a single gunshot. Prosecutors say the robbery was fake and she arranged the shooting.
Asking her, what happened? She got, this evil look on her face. No remorse.
Hall was a father of 3 with 1 on the way.
I hate it because I never had a chance with my dad due to just my dad not being a dad. But he's actually a dad.
Davis was linked to the crime with phone calls with an incarcerated man she was dating. Officers played back a call where Davis said, quote, got a cat to kill the rat. When questioned, investigators say she fumbled to explain.
I knew that she would end up getting caught because she don't know how to stop talking. I knew she would incriminate her own self.
Tonight, Milwaukee.
Look at that girl. Look at that woman. Be careful who you decide to put your stick in. Be careful who you decide to keep friends around you. Everybody don't want you to win. Everybody don't want you to win. And then last but not least, we need to get these people arrested. We need to get these people arrested. A man is arrested after slashing over 30 neighbors' tires inside of his neighborhood. Check it out.
At the start of the new year, people will often pop champagne to celebrate, right? Well, residents of this Katy neighborhood aren't celebrating much after someone was caught on camera popping their tires instead. ABC 13's Micah Hatfield joins us live in the Westfield Village neighborhood where an estimated 30 cars were hit. And Micah, we also understand deputies just made an arrest moments ago.
Yes, Eric, they did. We just learned in the last 30 seconds that this is a 22-year-old male who actually lives just nearby, a few houses down from where all of those tires were slashed. You can see the Harris County Sheriff's Office is here on scene. They drove away with that man just in about the last 10 minutes. A lot of people who had their tires slashed just walked over here to see what was going on. I was able to speak with a woman who said that she had 4 cars parked in her driveway and they have 5 tires that were popped. A big price tag coming her way. A lot of frustrated residents here.
It's the start of a new year, and people who live on Westwood Pines Drive are already deflated.
Tires popped. One tire's popped. And I look, I'm like, well, let me see. Maybe he saw it got flat. I went around and checked, and boom, the other one's flat too. So
what are the odds that 2 tires on the truck would be flat?
I get hollered at from neighbors down this road, and they're like, they got us too.
Who is they? Once people started looking at their surveillance cameras, they were able to somewhat answer that question. A younger man in a hoodie walking through the Westfield Village neighborhood with what appears to be a knife. Driveway to driveway, puncturing people's tires in broad daylight, about noon on Thursday. People we spoke to say they don't recognize him. The neighborhood estimates he hit about 30 cars.
Honestly, it's a kid who thinks that this is a fun thing for him, I guess. Entertainment. I don't know what I can't make of it. There's nothing that could justify what his behavior is.
Now all up and down the street you see flat tires or cars on jacks. Owners now out hundreds of dollars for a new tire. Just last year, Elmer Garay put tires on his vehicle that are $700 each.
It was not in my budget.
$700 a piece for tires, boss. That's $2,800 just for tires if all 4 of your tires was hit. And people don't care nothing about, oh no, wait a minute. Hey guys, hey, listen, if somebody had confronted him, it's not worth his life. In other cultures and in other countries, when you do stuff against people, you lose a finger, right? You might lose an arm. They beat the brakes off of you, something. But we live in a culture where people don't feel like there's consequences that come along with their actions. And so they feel compelled to go over there and puncture your tires and ruin your morning. And now you got to go and trade in more of your time into an employer so that you can then put tires on your car to continue to get back and forth to work. and they don't care nothing about you. Hey, Anton, don't profile. They're walking down the street with a hoodie on and a knife in their hand. Maybe they doing cartwheels and making a YouTube video. This is exactly why we profile. This is exactly why we profile. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits, all right? All right, y'all, we got a full show to cover for today. We got to get to Biden going to New Orleans. And he also signed some executive action before he's getting out of office, which Trump was complaining about, and we're going to talk about that. We got to go over to Marcellus Wiley, Stephen A. Smith. We got to talk about Kamala Harris certifying Trump's victory, and so much more. All right, so we're going to get into that. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to go on from there. Love the show. Shout out to you, AD. Shout out to Jock. I appreciate you. Talbish says, congrats on 500K. Been watching since 2021. Salute to you, fam. OG watcher, I love you. I appreciate you. Christopher Mayberry says, saw you yesterday, meant to speak and introduce myself, but was working. My client was walking a different direction than you, so I had to follow. Maybe we'll cross paths again today, and maybe I'll be able to say something. Chris, listen, when y'all see me in the streets, y'all gotta say what up. I am one of the nicest people that you will ever see in your entire life. Shout out to Chris. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody over here in Vegas for CES. Jerry says, always take time to celebrate the wins, no matter how big or small. You're the most consistent content creator on the net and the best to ever do it. Congratulations, AD. Thank you. Appreciate you. Oh, here's one of my guys that's getting money with me. Salute to you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Lot. I appreciate you. And then he came with another 50 ball right after that. Then he says, I never understood haters. My elders used to tell me that if the mailman delivered your neighbor's mail today, yours is on the way. Get that money. Oh, wait a minute. I can't say get that money. Let me be quiet. Shout out to you, Mr. Lot. I appreciate you, big dog. Wealth Building Journey says, hate is projection. It stems from a deep-seated insecurity from childhood that they weren't good enough. And it translates to adulthood as jealousy. Jeremy H says, duplicitous. My super nerdy buddy saw Infinity War and Endgame 4 times at the movies, bought the DVDs and subscribed to Disney. Marvel got all of them bags. Talk to him. What up, Miss Freckles? Miss Freckles gave me with the super sticker. I appreciate you, Miss Freckles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Monty says, keep your foot on their neck. Sam Atkins says, do not let the crabs have the remote. Casey Wade, shout out to you, Casey Wade. Tested says, I'm in Vegas visiting CES, also from Royal Oak. Already you motivated me to make my YouTube talk tech around the city. Hey, let me say this for a lot of y'all. There is a lack of, I'll share that with y'all in a minute. Shout out to you, Tested. I appreciate you. Jeweled Alchemy Soap Company says, Anton is a real one. We are beneficiaries. We are beneficiaries of not only the wisdom he drops on the Patreon, but our direct investment into our company. The Chasers are a community like no other. You better come on. No, we don't want no dusties. Only the people that want to run it up and go in the direction that we go in. And Anton, what you said was for somebody to scripture, Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. The gray way in the building, my guy says, I appreciate you not just for the wisdom, but for living as an example, unapologetically successful yet grounded. You show us what's possible. Keep living out loud. You're changing lives. Keep being you. And then my girl Liz. What up, Liz? Says shalom, everyone. What up, Liz? Let me acknowledge some of the Cash Appers also. I want to give a shout out to Kay Cooper. Says, do I got something on? Oh, shout out to Kay Cooper. Said I got something on my lip. Thank you, Kay. I appreciate it. You see how my ladies love me? Jamaica says, I ain't got much, but you cooking. Shout out for that $1. I appreciate you. And it said, this is for putting the medicine in the candy. You gonna get it. You gonna get it. I love y'all. And shout out to also Latrell M. I appreciate you, Latrell M, for holding us down. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm and then subscribe to the channel and send it to your family and friends. Let's get into the thick of the show, all right? So I have not seen this yet. But apparently Jason Whitlock, who worked with these people on Fox Sports, says he kept his distance from Joy Taylor. Let's find out what he's talking about. Let's get into it.
and I don't say this to be hypercritical
And
of
shout out to Jason Whitlock. A couple years ago, Jason Whitlock pulled up and he showed up on my platform, actually here on the Millionaire Morning Show. I just want to say that I rock with you, Jason. I don't always agree with your takes, but I absolutely rock with you, and I think that you're a phenomenal content creator. Let's get into what he got to talk about.
Joy Taylor. I don't have harsh opinions of Joy Taylor. She's not someone that I didn't get along with. I basically, for the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor. And I kept my distance, not because I didn't like her, it's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack. Like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble. And so that's what I did. I kept my distance. Because when you put some woman in a job, talking sports with a bunch of men, it's a job she's not qualified for.
Let me say this about Jason Whitlock. You know why I like Jason Whitlock? Is because he's not PC. Jason Whitlock is not PC. Now, it's going to be some people in the chat that's feeling some type of way. You could never. What makes you think that she would sleep with you? Did you see Charlie Dixon? If the allegations are true and Charlie hit it, let me pull up Charlie for y'all, because a lot of y'all act like y'all got these high standards. I don't believe in it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. That's Charlie. They're alleging that Charlie was beating the brakes off of that. Charlie got an eye that's over here, and they missized, and then I'm not even sure if he got bottom teeth. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that Jason Whitlock ain't have a chance. I mean, if you see Charlie, I'm like, we all got a chance. I may not want it, but Charlie is, in reality, Charlie is giving everybody hope. Everybody got hope. If Charlie can hit it, what makes you think Jason is above it? I'm not putting it above that. Don't act. No, hold on. Don't act like y'all got these high standards now. Don't act like y'all got high standards now. I'm not going for it. You could forget it. Let's see what Jason got to say. Let's get into it.
She's talking sports with professional athletes, people that did it at the highest level. She's talking sports with me or Colin Cowherd or other people that have like really studied sports at a super high level. What does she have to offer other than her sex appeal? And so should we be surprised that she leaned into that? No, we should. They put her in that position where it's the only thing she had to offer, and so she offered it up and got what she wanted. Let's think this through. As if you go into the lawsuit and the things that Nusheen says and the way she says things played out, Joy Taylor was some sort of fill-in talk show host down in Miami who, people in Miami kind of knew who she was. I think she may have had some association with Dan Le Batard or whatever, but she hadn't taken Miami by storm as a radio talk show host. She was a little extra. Attractive girl. Jason Taylor's.
Somebody said Jason sounds like a rapist. This not funny. Hide your daughters. What are you talking about? That is not relevant whatsoever. And he does not sound like a rapist. He sounds like, you know what he sounds like? He sounds like a man. When you put unqualified women based off of their looks in men's spaces, guess what? When you put unqualified women that have a nice rack that shows off that rack and understand their pretty privilege, guess what happens? They look. They look. When you put unqualified women that show off their rack and leverage their pretty privilege in order to get ahead, guess what men do? Fall victim to the rack. That has nothing to do with being. Y'all love to try to shame men for being men, but then you walk up with your skirt up and say, "Don't look at me, don't objectify me." Get the hell out of here. Shut that down. We don't want to hear that nonsense.
Sister, hey, let's put her on radio. But she hadn't really done anything. But somehow she's qualified to be the host of Undisputed, a debate show between Skip Bayless, who, like him or not, was an accomplished sports journalist for a time, and a Hall of Fame football player in Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe reached the top of the sports industry. Skip Bayless reached the top of the sports media industry. And Joy Taylor had done some radio work down in Miami.
And people will sit there and say, you know, we got simps. I got simps on Instagram inside of my chat on a video that, or a post that I went viral. And these guys are simping so hard and saying, oh my God, she worked her way to the top. Mind your business. I got women that's in my chat on TikTok. Oh my God, she worked her way to the top. Mind her business. Y'all should feel disrespected because it's some booger wolf that's super qualified, that worked hard, that is being a journalist and rejecting giving dome to some guy over there that says that he can get her into space, and she's operating with integrity, and you got her skipping a line, and your monkey head don't want to be focused. You got some God-fearing woman that's dressing like a nun who is probably more qualified and understands sports. She probably even played sports her entire life and has been studying it and focused and working on it, and she skipped the line on you too. What, you think that you're going to get an opportunity just because you supporting her? Listen, let me tell you something. You are 4, 5, 6, 7 at best. Most of us is just regular everyday people. Most of us are regular everyday people. You are 4, 5, 6, maybe even a 3. You're never going to get the same opportunities as Joy Taylor. I got news for you. You don't qualify. And there are people that are going to skip the line. So don't get mad at Jason Whitlock for telling the truth. Most of us are regular, everyday people. Your left breast ain't even the same size as your right breast. Your left leg don't go down as far as your right leg. Some people is just going to have to go and get it out the hard way. Don't get mad at Jason for telling the truth. She wasn't qualified to sit in the room outside of being visual candy, and everybody understood it. And they want to act like she was just a person that worked her way to the top. It's nonsense.
What does she have to offer? So how does she get that job? How does she even get that opportunity? Because she's got a big pair of cans, and she's, according to Sheen, according to, she's willing to let people enjoy those big cans of hers. That's how we got here.
It just is what it is. It's the truth.
It's not Joy Taylor's fault. And I want to go through and just, I'm trying not to disparage Joy Taylor, but the facts are the facts. I can remember.
Nobody says she was a 10. Nobody says she was a 10. But she a 10 for you? She your 10. Listen, all 10s are not created equal. All 10s are not created equal. Listen, she a 10 for you. She the best that you could possibly get. Probably that you can't get. And so please stop. Look, the one thing that we not going to do, she might have a flat booty. That's for sure. I'm going to give you that. She SpongeBob SquarePants briefcase booty. Cool. We not tripping off of that. Fact of the matter is, we not going to act like she not nice looking. We not going to act like when she probably was in the room that she wasn't turning heads. She a 10 for you. She may be a 7 for a Shannon Sharpe or Cam Newton. She may be an 8 for them. She an 11 for some of us. We gonna be real or we gonna keep it real? Y'all be acting like y'all standards is so high. It's not. It's not. We all just regular everyday people talking to everyday regular people, and we doing the best that we can.
I'm at Fox Sports at the time, and I ran into some friction because I didn't want a woman on a show that I was doing at Fox Sports. And so this is in 2015, 16, at the very beginning. And I can remember they brought Joy Taylor in for a test on the show that I was doing. Yeah, this is at the time when I was going to be initially doing my own show, and Cowherd was doing something else. And just keeping it all the way real, Charlie Dixon wanted her to be involved with my show. And so we brought her in for a test. And I didn't think the test went well. And I let everybody know, hey, I don't think this test went well. I don't want, this isn't the direction I wanted to go. I was trying to play nice and trying to meet them halfway in terms of okay, you guys are insisting on a woman being on this show because that's what everybody wants. And I was like, well, you need to bring a grown-ass woman on the show if it's going to be with me. It can't be at this time. This is 10 years ago. Joy Taylor's probably 25, 26 years old. You're talking about, I mean, I got a lot of discipline, but 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say, at some point I'm going to lose respect. And I'm like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin. And so if I got to put up with this, I might as well enjoy them big cans. And so I said,
you know why you gotta respect Whitlock? You know why you gotta respect Whitlock? Is because he just being real. He's keeping it 100% real, which most men and most people, especially those that have a significant enough platform, will never do. They never will, never have, never will keep it this real like Jason Whitlock. I love Jason Whitlock. Again, don't always agree with every single thing that he says, but I don't agree 100% with anything that anybody says, not even my own mother. You got to keep it 100. He's being real. This is how men talk when y'all don't look. This is how men talk when they're not in front of their wives trying to simp out and say, happy wife, happy life. No, baby, we wasn't talking about nothing. We was just over there playing checkers. This is how men talk. Hey, man, listen, bro, you over there with that bad chick over there? I'm telling you the truth.
no, I don't want to put myself in that position. And so I can remember, I had him,
All right, so listen. We'll get to that. I'll share that afterwards.
brought in Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie Bernstein's around my age, a few years younger, perhaps. But I was like, she's been around the block. She actually has been involved in sports media for a long time. She might have something of substance to offer.
Facts.
And the test we did with Bonnie Bernstein went much better. And I was like, if we're going to go, they were adamant, no Bonnie Bernstein. When I look back in retrospect, when I say they, I'm talking about Jamie Horowitz. And I don't know if I heard from Charlie Dixon on this, but I certainly heard from Jamie. They were adamant. No Bonnie Bernstein. And when I look back in retrospect, I'm not trying to disparage anybody. I'm just keeping it real. This show is called Fearless. I got to tell you the truth so you can understand these things. When I look back in retrospect, they were like, Bonnie Bernstein, she was 20 years ago. You know, we've had our way with Bonnie Bernstein. We want something fresh and new.
Who is Bonnie Bernstein? What does he mean had our way? Let me look at Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie Bernstein? Let me look this up. I need to see who Bonnie Bernstein is. Oh yeah, Bonnie Bernstein is over the hill. She it's an expiration date on women. She was born in 1970. Bonnie Bernstein is in her 50s now. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. Bonnie looks decent, but Bonnie is not the new girl. She not the it girl. She not the new girl. She not the it girl. Let me show you what Bonnie looked like back in the day. This is crazy. Yeah, Bonnie back in the day was popping. You know what I'm saying? She was probably popping. I don't know what he mean by have our way with her, but obviously Bonnie was a it girl at some point. And then Bonnie aged out. Too old. Nope. Nope. Mm-mm. That's it. I don't want to do that no more. Nope. You aged out, Bonnie. That's it. Once you get a little too old, a little too seasoned, they say they had their way with you. Hips don't look the same. Nope. They done with you, Bonnie. They want that new thing. They want that new 20-something thing. You too old, Bonnie. Keep saying that you want fitness. They don't want that.
So Bonnie Bernstein, a woman that's pushing 45, 50 at that time, no value.
Nope.
No interest.
Agreed.
No,
It's a young woman's
no
game,
one's
baby.
Sexually attracted enough to Bonnie Bernstein at that time to give her the job. And so we didn't do that. I kept holding firm. Next thing you know, me and Cowherd are doing the show together, and Jason McIntyre is going to be our sidekick. And that was a better landing for me than doing the show with a woman. I need, put me in a guy environment, guys talking. That's natural. That's what I thought had the most value. Down the road at Fox Sports, Christine Leahy, when Cowherd left the show, Christine Leahy wanted to replace Colin Cowherd. I wasn't for that. I considered it because I like Christine Leahy, and what I wanted in that next position, replacing Cowherd, was someone that was
This is Christine
in a
Leahy,
much more
y'all.
junior position
Christine
to
Leahy
me
right here.
than Colin Cowherd. And so, but Christine Leahy had no interest in that and told me flat out she wanted to do a 50-50 show. And I told Christine Leahy, who I liked, but I told her flat out, I was like,
Christine kind of thick too.
I can't do a 50-50 show with you. You don't know 50% of what I know. You don't know 20% of what I know. You're a child, an attractive one, but you're just a child. And so I can't do a show that's 50-50 with you. There's some things I could teach you in the junior position, but I would consider it, but 50-50, that's insanity. And that's how I ended up moving to Marcellus Wiley. I could do, in my view, this is just me keeping it real, I could do a 55-45 show with Marcellus Wiley. Guy, played sports at the highest level, very good personality, experience. And so that's how we ended up with me and Marcellus and Speak for Yourself. I'm going to continue because I want to be crystal clear here. I like Charlie Dixon, the executive that allegedly was sleeping with Joy Taylor, and that's how she got her position, according to Sheen in his lawsuit. Just in the interest of transparency and just me keeping it real, when I was at Fox Sports, everybody, I don't know if this is factual, but I know what everybody thought. Everybody, these stories that Sheen's talking about in this lawsuit, they were widespread and prevalent in 2016.
So now we have an insider. And Jason Whitlock is saying, listen, I can't say whether or not this is true or it's not true, but the one thing that I know is that this was not a secret amongst the people that was in the building. This was not a secret amongst the people that were in the building. We're going to have a conversation about this later.
Everybody across Fox Sports thought and gossiped about Joy Taylor and Charlie Dixon. Again, I heard the same talk as everyone else. My name was Bennett. I wasn't in it. But I do know that the women, and I'm going to leave a name out of this. I'm going to leave names out of this. But what's alleged in this lawsuit about Joy Taylor and her sleeping with Charlie Dixon and her telling Sheen and others that she will control Charlie Dixon and that she will say that he sexually harassed her if he ever gets out of line. That was a common play. That was a common tactic by women in sports media. What Joy Taylor was, she's more transparent in talking about it than perhaps she should have been, but that was a very common practice. I had a very attractive, big-breasted woman that wanted to work at Fox Sports and wanted to, another one, I'm not talking about Christine, but another one that wanted to be on Speak for Yourself. And she would ask me out to dinner about once a month and just let me know that in subtle and not so subtle ways, hey, you put me on Speak for Yourself, and these jugs and me could be your little plaything. And I value my independence. I value my ability to say what I think. I didn't want to give anybody leverage over me. And this, I've told you guys previous stories about executives asking me, hey, who on the network would you most like to sleep with? And my thoughts always were, particularly at that time out in Los Angeles, when I was out there from 2010 to 2020, I'm just like, I'm on TV, I make enough money, and there's enough women out here just giving it away. Attractive women, just giving it away. I don't need to be doing anything here on the job that could potentially undermine me.
Smart man. Let me give Jason Whitlock a round of applause. Probably the most sane person that I've seen speak on this. Probably the most logical and sane person that I've seen speak on this. I can go out there and there's women that's giving it away for free. Why do I need to sleep with a chick on a job? I got to mine this out on the Anton Daniels channel. I got to mine this out on the Anton Daniels channel. This is a deeper conversation. This is a much, much deeper conversation. But Jason was basically like, man, I make enough money. I ain't about to fumble my own bag. Get out of here. Get out of here. And more importantly, this is why men don't want women in men's spaces. Is because what Jason Whitlock just basically told y'all is that it is common practice. It was common practice, and this is why I've been beating this dead horse since the beginning of time, is that women have been incentivized to accuse men of things that they didn't do because they know that they can use that as leverage and to get away with it. And he said, listen, they spoke openly about it. It was just a normal thing. It was just the way that it was. It wasn't a secret. Joy was probably a lot more vocal about it than everybody else. But the fact of the matter is, and this is why we have these conversations and why the one that we had last night was so important, that men don't want women in men's spaces because it has become toxic, and things that you volunteer for and sign up for, you then come back and say, hey, they used me against my will, or I didn't really do it. And that's why I don't believe y'all. I don't believe all of these accusations that just come out of the blue. I don't even believe the majority of the accusations against Diddy. Cassie may have a case, not the rest of them. You got to prove it to me, big dog. You can't come up 30 years later after you seen Cassie get a bag and say, oh, me too, me too. No, not you. Not you. Miss Lady on a spectrum, putting paint on the walls, accusing Jay. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And he said it. He said it was common practice for women to be in a position and to leverage the box. And then on top of that, use that and say, hey, man, he probably did something against me, against my will. I don't remember. I woke up crazy. We got to have that conversation a little bit deeper. I'm going to have that conversation on the Anton Daniels channel. Shout out to Jason Whitlock for going out there and exposing people for who they really are. Red Apples Kim is in the building, says, good morning, AD, and the cast, and still making money. Get that money, baby girl. Don't let nobody shame you out of getting your bag. Wagwan King wins the first meetup of 2025, probably in March. We planning for March. We got to get through the inauguration. We got to get through a lot of stuff that's happening over here in Vegas, Portland, lots of things that we got to rock out with. T-Mac says, Joyce said it on the podcast with Taylor Rooks, that a woman's standards go out the window if a man is fine, funny, or effing money. 2K Nola is in the building. Shout out to 2K Nola, says, this has nothing to do with Shay Whitlock always hating on someone so I'm not a fan. What are you talking about? He never witnessed. He never even mentioned Shannon Sharp. Y'all want so bad to create a problem or to add something in there. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off. I did not hear him say anything, not one thing about Shannon Sharp in that whole soliloquy. What are y'all talking about? Anyways, let's continue. Um, let's continue on. Read a couple more super chats. Tyrant the Tyrant says, "If beauty is your only asset, you're gonna do some whole ass." Andrew's black ex-wife says, "Joy cometh in the morning." AD, 2 bodies was just found in the wheel of a JetBlue plane in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I seen that. I heard about that. Love Dayton, Los Angeles says, Bonnie, Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole, you're too old to understand how the game goes. Shout out to Tupac. Levi Apparel says, "Sir, this is why you're a boxologist." Deep message. High Tolerance says, "Good morning, AD. All ears on the road, but these cats know damn well what they going home to and pulling on a regular isn't touching that Joy Taylor flatback and all. Same ones calling her exotic." Then Anton used to say, "Pretty girls weren't live." Shh. Shh. Rico Champion says, per the lawsuit, when Joy told her to get over it, they may be enough to implement her as a groomer. I haven't heard anybody bring up that point. That's true. We're going to talk about it on After Hours tonight. Alex Oubre, shout out to my dog Alex Oubre, says, as a D1 basketball player, I won't entertain any woman that slides on my DM for reasons like this. Gotta happen organically. Talk to him, big dog. You know what it is. Shout out to Alex. Hit me up. I think we was talking on Instagram. Hit me up, bro. I want to link up real quick. We gotta have this conversation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications. Let's get Stephen A's whole perspective on this whole thing, because Stephen A was very close to Skip, right? Let's see what Stephen A had to say about this.
I have to get started with this subject because we all know that anytime you mention Skip Bayless, most folks want to hear what I have to say. And that's where we're going to get started because it's sports media news, which makes it apropos. And it involves a recent lawsuit filed against Fox Sports, and several people, including my buddy Skip Bayless, my former colleague at ESPN. The suit filed by
Are they still buddies? A
woman named Nashin Faraji, a former hairstylist for the company, cites several instances of workplace misconduct, okay? The 42-page, that's right, 42-page suit names several defendants, including Fox Sports Executive Vice President Charlie Dixon and even host Joy Taylor. Faraji alleges Dixon grabbed her buttocks at a birthday party, and when she relayed the encounter to Taylor, the Fox host allegedly told her to, quote, get over it, end quote. As for Skip Bayless, Faraji says he touched her inappropriately and propositioned her for sex, offering her $1.5 million, end quote. I'll get to Tori and her thoughts on for a second. First things first, let me tell you why I had to cover this. Number one, it's news. Number two, I was just on the air a few weeks ago and took some heat for the fact that I pointed out that I've been friends with Jay-Z for 25 years. And I know nothing about what happened, no intimate details. Certainly can't be irresponsible and not try to interfere with a legal matter, a lawsuit. But in the same breath, I didn't think it was a crime to point out that the person that I've known for 25 years, I've never seen somebody that would be capable of that, with that meaning that person that I was around for 25 years. The same applies to Skip Bayless.
Stephen A has been consistent on this, and I got to give him credit. I give Stephen A lot of flack on a lot of things, but I got to give him credit. Stephen A. Smith has been consistent, as I have. Same thing. I was consistent when I said that all of these accusations against Jay-Z is wild, and we got to be careful with that. The only reason I started bringing Joy Taylor to the front of the congregation, which now it's a lot of people that's actually substantiating the argument that was in the room, is because I felt like it was hypocritical that a lot of people gave her a pass when they didn't give everybody else a pass that came before her. Any man that got accused, they automatically said, believe all women, he guilty. But when Joy Taylor came, everybody said, shh, mind your business. And it shows the hypocrisy in our society and also the privilege that a lot of women get. And that I think that Joy is going to land on her feet and Skip Bayless is going to be lepers. Joy is going to land on her feet and people are just going to be like, hey, that's just what women do. And Skip Bayless is going to be a leper. But more importantly, the worst thing about Joy Taylor was the potential allegation that said that she would say or she would use her woman's privilege and say that he touched her inappropriately or he made, did something against the will of her if she ever was to lose her job or get pushed out. Maybe that's why she's been on air for so long.
Now, I don't know what happened. I don't work at Fox. I worked at Fox from 2001 to 2003. I haven't been there. I haven't been in that building in over 20 years. I don't know any details or anything like that. And I'm not here to castigate Ms. Faraji or anybody else. I don't know Charlie Dixon that well, even though he used to work, at ESPN. I don't know Joy Taylor that well, even though she and I have interacted with one another on several occasions.
Said Anton, you got to hear Marcellus Wiley's take on it. Let me see something.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person.
I got Marcellus's number. I'll call him. Maybe I'll even get him on the show. You know what? We might do a live stream together. Let me let the rest of this player see if Stephen A got anything else to say.
Occasions throughout her career, and I find her to be a consummate professional, very good at what she does, very capable, very knowledgeable about the world of sports.
He on the West
and what
Coast.
have you.
I know he on the West Coast, so it's 7:30 on the West Coast, right?
Also know that she's big on women empowerment, so it's hard to imagine her saying get over it. But again, I don't know. But we all know that when you see Stephen A. Smith with a subject like this and the name involves Skip Bayless, that's what you want to know about. And here's what I would tell you. I don't know what happened. But just like I said, I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I can't imagine that. I've known Skip for just as long. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Especially when they brought up the $1.5 million. The Skip Bayless I know has a hard time giving away $15.
Which is one of the reasons why you have to start giving pause, because it's like, that's a crazy number. That's a crazy number. Stephen A. Smith says, listen, man, Skip Bayless and the picture that he just had over here, this picture right here, you know how I know that Skip Bayless is cheap? You know how I know that Skip Bayless is cheap? Because most people, especially Skip Bayless's age, would go out and they would buy a Ferrari or they would get some hypercar. Now, I'm not saying that a Chevy Corvette is not a stout car. It is one of the best cars on the road today. One of the best cars on the road today. But very few people like Skip Bayless will be taking, like only a Skip Bayless will take a picture in front of a Corvette as a multi-millionaire, as a person that has probably made over $100 million in his life. Only a Skip Bayless will pick a car that's under $100,000 and take a picture in it like, ha ha. That's the type of person that Skip Bayless seems to be. And Stephen A is basically saying, listen, Skip ain't even giving you $50. You telling me he offered $1.5 million? Okay.
See, and irresponsible for people who don't know to act like they do know. But in the same breath, I also feel it's important that if you know people or you think you know people and you've had a long-standing relationship with those people, that it's not a crime for you to say the person that I know, the person that I've been around, the person that I worked with in his case, for 4 straight years from 2012 to 2016, doing First Take every weekday morning at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The person that I knew since our days at Fox Sports when we would appear on Jim Rome's show.
Or maybe the play for Skip Bayless was, I'm going to say a number. That don't necessarily mean that's what you're going to get. Listen, I know, guys, you know what we call that over here in Detroit? Well, I'm in Vegas right now, but you know what we call that in Detroit? We call that selling wolf tickets. Selling wolf tickets. When you tell a chick, yeah, man, listen, I got you, baby. I got you. I'm going to send it to you. That don't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. Y'all see, listen, y'all think y'all might have been I might have been interpreting this wrong. If it did happen, he may have threw a number out there just because he wanted to really get the box and try to have one up on Shannon Sharp. It don't necessarily mean that that's what Skip might not have been trying to give nothing. Skip might have just told her a number. That seems more realistic. Maybe the story is true, but maybe the context is Skip was like, man, I just said that. It just sounded good at the time. I know guys that give wolf tickets out all day long. All day long. He was just seeing what her threshold was. You know what? She a single mother. She says she having problems with cancer. 1.5 seemed like a good number. He might have just threw it out there just to see what was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, the last word and stuff like that. And we were in the same Fox building off of Pico Boulevard and Avenue of the Stars. The person that I've seen that really, really trusts almost no one and doesn't expose himself to anybody. Eating the same breakfast and lunch every day. His vice is a diet Mountain Dew, and he doesn't socialize with people. That's the guy I know. So imagining him being in this kind of position is shocking, to say the least.
Guys,
all I can tell you is that it's not the Skip Bayless I know. But obviously, this is a legal matter he's going to have to deal with because this situation doesn't appear to be going away. A lawsuit has been filed. This person who's a hairstylist, the people that I've spoken to in the last 24 hours that have some knowledge about her says that she's the kind of person that she's meticulous with her details and she's going to chronicle things and that's how she operates. I don't know her. I don't know them. I know Skip. And I'm very, very heartbroken that he finds himself in this situation, being accused of these allegations. But I can't be over the airways being irresponsible and attaching truth or innocence, or guilt to anything that I know nothing about. All I can say, and I don't think it's a crime to say, is just like I said with Jay-Z, the person that I've known for 25 years, I've never seen anything like that from that person.
Well, I'm glad that all of his friends is actually holding him down because a lot of people would turn on you. I seen Dave Portnoy over there at Barstool Sports. He said that this is false against Skip Bayless and this is nonsense. Stephen A is saying that it's nonsense about Skip Bayless. Nobody has ever said anything about Skip Bayless. Is it true? We don't know. Did he highball her? Maybe. But we got to wait and see what happens and what the details are because unlike Joy Taylor, a lot of people are coming out and saying, nah, listen, you can say a lot of things about Skip. You can say that you didn't necessarily like him. You can say that you didn't necessarily care for him, but you can't say that he didn't ever offer a woman money for box. That's what everybody is saying. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to move over into the rest of the show. LSTN Solutions says, bro, he made a video blaming Shay for all of this. All right, well, we'll have to evaluate it. I only seen a clip. He put up the clip. That's what we reviewed. That's what people sent me. And so I didn't see that. I didn't see the whole stream. Jerry says men need to have these women sign NDAs for consensual sex. The false accusations are ridiculous. That's a fair point. Well, it's two different documents. You have NDAs, which is a non-disclosure agreement, which means that you can't talk about any of this, all of this stuff that I got going on. But then you have consent agreement. Consent agreements is if we decide that we want to get down and dirty, that you agree to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do it. So I believe and NDAs so that you can protect yourself and the people around you, and consent agreements. Consent agreements, not saying that we're going to knock it down or we're going to get boxed, but just to protect me from you saying that you was trying to finesse yourself into a situation and then somebody took advantage of you. Because even if you're not touched, even if nobody do anything to you, it doesn't mean that you can't make the accusations against them. It's plenty of guys that never touch women, but women have made accusations and got them fired from their job or got a lawsuit. So the consent agreement is to protect you against the accusation, not necessarily to justify whether or not you want to bust her down or not. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The consent agreement, meaning that she agrees to give up the box, does not necessarily mean that you have to touch her. But what it does is it prevents you from being accused of something that you did not do, even if you never touched her. It's crazy that we even had to have these conversations. Chris James, you said just get a wife and stay disciplined. Chris, I don't think you hear me, bro. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. It's plenty of people that get accused of something that they didn't do because they are in a position of power. It doesn't mean that you did anything with them. Do you understand what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with whether you touched them or not. It has everything to do with the fact that they're going to do what they want to do against you because that is the thing that's going to allow for them to get the bag and level up. Doesn't matter if you got a wife. Don't matter if you're up and guy. Don't matter if you're about business. Don't matter none of that. The accusation is enough to get you fired. Don't matter. None of that matters. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't know. Anyways, let me continue on with the show. Let me continue. It has nothing to do with the position that you in at all, whatsoever. Plenty of guys was fired just based off of an accusation, regardless of whether or not he was even in a room. Just the thought of it, just the illusion of it was enough to get him fired. Doesn't mean anything. Shout out to Jerry. Moet Bless says, you D-Skippy, he wanted that jiffy. The economy has these women coming out in droves, getting box bagged. Accusations go up when the economy go down. You know what I'm saying? Tech Coach Ralph says, congrats on 500K. Been here since 68K on both channels. Learning from the strategy and consistency. Next is 1M. I ain't even thinking about it, Tech Coach Ralph. I'm gonna just keep working. I belong to a Corvette club. Men love it. No. I agree with you. But when you start getting into the hundreds of millions, most of the time the car that people take a picture in front of is a hypercar. You know what I'm saying? I love Corvettes. I'm from Detroit. What do you think about Trump entertaining taking over Canada and Greenland? I think it's hilarious. Appreciate you for teaching us the game, AD Bag Chaser for life. Shout out to all of the new Patreon members and the Bag Chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's continue on with the show. All right. Enough of that for today. We'll come back to it tomorrow, and hopefully I can get my dog Marcellus Wiley to have a conversation. Let's talk about Kamala Harris, all right? Kamala Harris, and we're only going to spend 10 minutes on this for real. Kamala Harris has certified the results of the election and has said that Trump is the actual winner of the election itself, and she has some words to say afterwards.
Members of the House and Senate are gathering in what is there, and there is the Speaker Mike Johnson and Vice President Kamala Harris. It's obviously a bipartisan or even nonpartisan event where the leaders of this country come together to count the electoral votes. There's Ted Cruz, a senator from Texas, who was one of the main individuals who helped cause what happened 4 years ago by putting forward the falsehood that the vice president could somehow do something to stop the electoral count. There's Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries with Catherine Clark.
Hakeem Jeffries, he just seemed like a snake. He genuinely just seemed like a snake. Let me see if I can fast forward it.
And there's a certain privilege involved that day we're grateful for. And we saw being for many.
As delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris
Hey, she tried to skip past that. She tried to read that off real quick, did she? Hold on, back it up. Back it up for a second.
and 12 votes. Kamala D. Harris
Hey, she tried to skip past that so fast. No, say it slow and say it with your chest. Say it slow and say it with your chest. Don't say it fast. Don't be quick with it. Donald Trump, 312 electoral college votes. We like that. Okay, Hakeem Jeffries is Team Obama. No, don't bang the gavel on us now.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
I don't believe in moral victories personally. I don't believe in moral victories. I think that there should either be winners or losers. There is no you tried hard. You know, I see content creators on this app and they be begging for some clout, begging for some visibility, begging for you to go over there and say, hey, man, this and that, and this and that. Hey, man, let me give you some tips. Let me help you out or whatever. No. It's a hierarchy. It's a hierarchy. We are all in competition. They in competition with politics. We in competition with content creation. You in competition with sports. You're in competition with women. You're in competition with business. This is a competition. There is only winners and losers. There is no middle. There is no in between. God don't even like people that's in the middle. He don't even like people on the fence. There is no warm, lukewarm. He spits you out of his mouth. There's only winners and losers. So when I see these people get up and applaud and give her a moral victory, that will be an insult to me. For me, when somebody say, "Oh man, you tried hard," that is not that is a moral victory. At least you was in the race. Don't ever hit me with an at least, and don't ever hit me with a but. Don't ever compliment me and say, "But you good, but you did good, but you lost." Nope. It's either winners and losers. Do not spit in my face. Moral victories are for people that got participation trophies when they were growing up.
The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes.
Shout out to J.D. Vance. Next President of the United States of America in 2028. Clearly the best person for the job.
Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes.
Tim Walz may have been the worst vice presidential candidate in history, right behind Kamala Harris.
This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January,
and we can't wait.
2025.
We can't
and
wait.
shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much.
All right, there it is, the final gavel coming down there, and Donald Trump has secured 312 electoral votes to Vice President Harris's 220.
A lot of people don't even know that the vice president is really the president of the Senate, and this is why she was the one that needed to certify the votes. Some of us need to take a civics class before the midterm elections in 2026. They said that she spoke on this afterwards. I want to hear what she had to say.
Just moments ago, inside of this building in the Rayburn Room, we did hear from Vice President Kamala Harris make very short remarks to some of the press as she was passing through. Now, I want to re-rack those comments and then
EJ's Life says you can't be serious about Vance. Ain't no way you follow politics outside of speaking points and believe that. It's no way that I'm serious about what? JD Vance becoming president of the United States of America in 2028? Why wouldn't I be serious about that? Why wouldn't I be serious about JD Vance? Anyways, y'all projecting y'all insecurities because y'all know y'all gonna get washed over the next 40 years by the Republican Party. But let's continue.
after the fact, going to bring you a bit of a summary on what we saw today, what we can expect also going forward.
It was obviously a very important day, and it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important.
Listen, it's people new here every single day. If you're new here, make sure that you grab a seat, sit down. Understand that I do interact with the chat. I look at the chat as my co-host for the show, and so God bless you. Okay, Pumpkin.
Pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power. And today I did what I have done my entire career, which is take seriously the oath that I have taken many times to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, which included today performing my constitutional duties to ensure that the people of America, the voters of America, will have their votes counted, that those votes matter, and that they will determine then the outcome of an election. I do believe very strongly that America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Every single person, their willingness to fight for and respect the importance of our democracy. Otherwise, it is very fragile and it will not be able to withstand moments of crisis. And today, America's democracy stood.
She don't take no questions. Well, that was Kamala Harris. She said today America's democracy stood, and then she walked off the podium. I think that Kamala Harris has to save face. This has not, first of all, been anything close to a peaceful transition of power. It has been a S show, and we're going to talk about that shortly. This has not been a peaceful transition of power. This has been one of the worst transitions that I've ever seen in my lifetime, personally. And the reason that is because it's not about whether or not you certify the votes. You're going to do that because you either want to run for president of the United States of America in 2028, or you want to run for governor of California and you don't want this to be a stain on your record because your past can come back to haunt you. We know that Biden is going to make sure that he's probably at the inauguration. That has nothing to do with it. But the fact that they continue to let people over the border, the fact that they continue to give money over to Ukraine, the fact that they're trying to make sure that they keep diversity, equity, and inclusion inside of the government, the fact that they're trying to allow for return to office to give the unions some kind of leg up so that when Trump get in office, it makes it more difficult. The only thing that I've seen that he did that aligns with what Trump is going to do in 2025 on January 20th is to block the Nippon Steel sale of U.S. steel to the Japanese steel makers. That's the only thing that I've seen. But he's been absolutely atrocious as a president over the last 60 to 90 days. And we can't wait for him to be able to get out of office. So it has been nothing but, or anything but, a peaceful transition of power. I think that it has been trash. It has been absolutely bad for Biden's legacy. Kamala Harris hasn't been anywhere to be found. Obviously, we've seen no conversation with them about the spending bill. And it's just been horrible. It's been absolutely bad. So I do think that she's going to run for governor of California. She seemed a little bit bothered about what's going on. And nobody has heard from her before the election or after the election. The only time that we've seen Kamala Harris pop out is when she was trying to get $1.5 billion from y'all to run for president of the United States of America. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Mo Wellness says, officiating your own L is like watching your girl get her cheeks clapped. But But you got to save face, though. You got to put on a strong face, even if you a cuck. Dark Side says certifying one's own defeat is a special kind of drubbing. Given a loser, this one is deserving. Steven Slayer 1 says, oh, Steven, you fixed your name, huh? Ah, okay, all right. Kamala took the biggest L of 2025. Nah, Joy Taylor is taking that L. Unbiased C. Ross says, why does she always look like she just woke up? Deeper than you don't think TV says, good morning, AD. Just wanted to say thank you for all that you contribute to us. You are very much appreciated. Please accept my last as a thank you. Y'all don't send me y'all last, y'all. Don't send me y'all last. Let me see what's going on in these streets. What up, though? Yeah, what's the word? Oh, on online? Uh Shoot. Since before the pandemic. Maybe 5. No, because we was getting it. It just wasn't that much. All right, bro. Let me know if you need anything. All right, bye. And my dog, Mr. Maximus, says, word from the Mac, once you cross that 6-figure mark, girls will clench they cheeks hard as F to prevent it's man, we gotta have a conversation about this 6-figure conversation. We need to deep dive into the 6 figures. Well, let's talk about Biden really quickly, and we only gonna again spend 10 minutes on this. Biden pulled up because he wanted to visit the New Orleans Victims Memorial and pay his respects. Check it out.
To the current president now. Look at this. President Biden and the First Lady. This is literally in the last maybe 90 seconds to 3 minutes. They arrived in New Orleans to visit this memorial for the people who were killed and hurt in that New Year's morning attack on Bourbon Street. Later on tonight, the first couple will be at a prayer service to remember those victims. All of it as there are new questions tonight about just how safe the city actually is after that truck plowed into a group of people celebrating in the French Quarter. You've got a big test just hours from now with Epiphany celebrations. That's like the kickoff to the carnival season in New Orleans with some parades happening near Bourbon Street. Jesse Kirsch is there. He is in New Orleans. Let's start there at the new security barriers that are being installed. There's a question of what they can actually stop, how effective.
I appreciate everybody that support the platform. Everybody that have support the platform, I appreciate you guys.
They could be. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so Hallie, the barriers that are being installed here, according to the company that makes them, are only rated to stop a vehicle going 10 miles per hour. Jesus. And some security experts tell us that you need to be able to stop a vehicle going 30 miles per hour to effectively be protecting against the possibility of a terrorist attack. The mayor of New Orleans was asked about this at a press conference yesterday, and she acknowledged and double check. So, Hallie, just to fill you in on what that is, there are a couple of armored sheriff's vehicles and state police vehicles that have been down here, and I'm just looking over the balcony where we are on Bourbon Street just to make sure, because obviously this is an area that has had moments of tension right over the last week, and actually,
thank you,
I don't know
Mr.
if you'll be able
Tesla.
to see it, probably not. I'm gonna have a photographer try to push it and show it. The state police vehicle that was just blocking off this intersection, a block off of Canal on Bourbon Street. They had two massive armored vehicles here, and you're now seeing them go down Bourbon Street, away from Canal Street. These were blocking off that intersection while the president was making that stop. And of course, as we've become all too...
Yeah, they shut everything down when the president is in the city. Everything shut down. Ain't nobody gonna get close to Biden. Everywhere that guy walks is snipers on the roof. That junk blew my mind when I started seeing what was going on. During Trump's presidential election, I had an opportunity to go to a couple rallies and meet him and stuff like that. Man, if you just look up in the sky, it's drones everywhere. It's police, local police, bodyguards. Dog, you got to get searched before you even get remotely close to the vicinity, and you got to know somebody and all of this stuff. I seen snipers all across the roof. State police be blocking off routes. It is the craziest thing ever. I don't know why anybody would ever want to elevate themselves unless you truly, truly love this country. I am not sure why anybody would ever want to be president of the United States of America. Your life is forever. That is the type of fame that I don't want. That is the type of fame that I don't want, where you basically have to walk and have an itinerary every day, and have snipers everywhere you go to protect you. I don't want that type of love. It ain't enough love and hate in the world, and people get so butthurt about it, they be ready to crash out. I don't even think that Biden know where he at this point. I don't think that Biden even know where he at this point. You said it's gonna be packed at Mardi Gras. Your car said don't go. Well, Nola, well, you changed your name. You changed your name. Y'all said that picture at the bottom of the screen ain't right. That's Biden. That's Biden. I don't think he know where he is. New Orleans is a wild place for me. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. Let's continue.
Familiar with yet again over the past several months, the security that you need around a president or a former president, as we've come to see with attempts on President-elect Trump's life in recent months. But that appears to have just been part of that security situation. So.
Okay.
Calmness here now. The music is playing, and I think it just speaks to the strangeness of the dichotomy of what we've been seeing on Bourbon Street over the last week. At the end of the block, you have people who have had tears down their eyes. You have been people bowing their heads in prayer. The President of the United States was just doing the sign of the cross at Bourbon and Canal Street, where this rampage began. And if you just go hundreds of feet down the block, you can hear saxophone jazz music. There are people standing around a bar. There's this liveliness, the lights, the neon lights going down the block here, and what people think of when they think of Bourbon Street. So it's just been this very strange, right, side by side of grief and the exuberance that we normally experience here. And so the way those two have.
You said NOLA is your home? What you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. When have I ever been one to mince words? I think that y'all demonic down there. 100%. I think that y'all crazy. I think that it's a lot of demons running around in New Orleans. And there's no way, if you've ever driven outside of Bourbon Street, that you can tell me that it's a great place to raise a family. It's under sea level. It is going to be one of the first places that's destroyed in the United States of America as the polar ice caps melt. And every other block, I see a place that does voodoo, witchcraft, voodoo, sticking pins and dials, all of that. What, you thought that I was gonna mince my words just because we talking about New Orleans and a bunch of people suffered? And shouts out to their families. I hope everybody heal. But let's be very, very clear. Let's be very, very clear. I'm not mincing words. I think that New Orleans is demonic. 100%. 1000%. I think that New Orleans could quite possibly be one of the most spiritually under duress cities in the United States of America. 1000%. I remember I was reading a story about a woman who, every time somebody went into her shop, right, because she had a shop down in New Orleans, every time that somebody went into her shop, she would put like this witchcraft dust or voodoo dust on people, so where they was unsuspectedly having this stuff fall onto them every time that they came into their shop. And so she was basically cursing them. She was basically cursing them. When I went down to New Orleans, when I go and visit New Orleans, because I go and visit it occasionally, I don't stay in New Orleans. I usually fly down into Biloxi, and then once I fly into Biloxi, and I hang out over in Mississippi. New Orleans is roughly about an hour drive to go and visit. So I'll go and visit New Orleans just to see what the vibes is and stuff. Man, the first time that I visited New Orleans and the second time that I visited New Orleans, I said, man, this place is wild. It's 1000% wild. I said that this is one of the wildest places And this place is giving me the heebie-jeebies, bro. I said that this place is giving me the heebie-jeebies. I will walk around, and the police is not trying to stop anybody. I've seen people fall out on the street, hit their head. I've seen a dude take a whole dump right in the middle of the street in New Orleans. The police is only there to prevent people from killing each other. That's it. Anything goes. Anything goes in New Orleans. And I know that sounds enticing because on the surface, it'll be like, well, you know, it's a great place to party. You can go and get some box. You can get boxolitis and all of that stuff. Man, listen, bro. It ain't enough gumbo enough anywhere for me to go and stay there overnight. And you know what the funniest part about it? Don't leave out of the French Quarter. Don't leave off Bourbon Street. Don't leave off to that general area. Because after you leave out of that general area, it's going to be like, whoa, they. Whoa, they. Oh, you like leaving out of French Quarter, huh? You like leaving off of Bourbon Street, huh? You don't got the word in street, huh? If you in New Orleans, huh? You like chilling out with dope fiends, huh? Giving up all of the peen, huh? You like dying on Bourbon Street. And if you leave Bourbon Street, you're gonna get where them hoes is at. Y'all have no clue what's happening all around y'all. And because y'all are not spiritually inept, y'all not equipped, y'all not really paying attention to what's happening around y'all. Is whoa they. I bring it back to the bottom of the map. Whoa they. I bring it back to the bottom of the map. Wayne don't even live there. Birdman ain't there. Boosie said, I'm out. I'm out. Whoa they. I bring it back to the bottom of the map. Whoa they. Broke the levees on y'all and everything. Said, y'all ran over to Houston, brought y'all demonic ways over there. Stay going back to New Orleans. Build your house on stilts. All of the houses is 20 feet in the air and all of them on stilts. That's a bad sign, though.
Have been coming together over the last week has been very interesting to see play out, and that's what we continue to see tonight, Hallie.
It is quite a split screen, Jesse, especially as they lay it out like that. We just showed that video of President Biden and the First Lady talking about people who are at the French Quarter, as they typically might be on any day, over the course of the last couple of years. President Biden here again, Jesse, is playing that role of consoler in chief.
That's right. And we do expect him to be spending time with families affected by this tragedy, which happened last week. And we're now getting some more information, Hallie, from the White House on steps moving forward. The Biden administration is promising higher levels of protection for Mardi Gras. That comes after the Super Bowl. The mayor of New Orleans has said she had wanted more federal resources for that, and she is now getting them, according to the Biden administration. That means that there will be more federal support for that event, treating it as a higher level event in terms of the type of federal support. And I want to go back to what we were talking about a moment ago, Hallie, when we heard those sirens going off. So the mayor of New Orleans is now acknowledging that she does not know for certain, she cannot say with certainty, that the barriers they have been installing here and are in the midst of getting ready for the Super Bowl are actually strong enough for the crowds that would be coming through for that. And that was
Y'all want me to talk about New Orleans? Terry, why y'all want me to talk about New Orleans? Everybody get the jokes. Oh, so we could talk about Chicago. We could talk about what's happening over in Miami. We could talk about New York. We could talk about Oakland. We could talk about LA. We could talk about Akron. We could talk about Memphis. We could talk about Colorado, Denver, New Mexico, but we can't talk about New Orleans. Why we can't talk about New Orleans? Every place got its good and bad. We just acknowledging the bad today. Everybody catches an L. Everybody catches their L. New Orleans is known for voodoo and witchcraft. That is a fact. Voodoo, witchcraft, and titties flying all and box that you don't want. Listen, if a woman is offering you box and you just so happen to be partying Mardi Gras, if she offering you box for beads, B&B, not Airbnb, B&B. If she offering you B&B, box for beads, don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it. It's not gonna work out for you well, bro. It's not going to work out for you well. If she offering you box for beads, walk away immediately. Don't pass go. Don't take $200. Just get the heck up out of there, bro. Real talk. And every time somebody holds y'all accountable, it don't mean that they hate neither. It just means that we having a conversation. Shout out to Rand Wilson, says Louisiana set to sue the Biden administration over a drill ban. Don't matter. He about to leave office anyway. Y'all suing the taxpayers. Y'all not suing Biden. Y'all said box for beads. Y'all don't see them throwing beads? Oh! Unbiasedly Ross says 10 miles per hour so a bird scooter can break through. Facts. That's facts. Ain't nobody driving back through New Orleans like that. Y'all had y'all one shot. Y'all gonna get y'all visibility. Now y'all gonna go back to partying on Bourbon Street. Ain't nobody gonna stop going. The one thing about Americans is that they're resilient. They not gonna let nobody get in the way of their partying. Nobody. Even during the pandemic, everybody was trying to get to Florida so that they can go and party. Now you regret it because your house ain't worth nothing. Even during the pandemic, everybody was trying to get to Atlanta. Even during the pandemic, everybody was trying to move to Texas. The American people are resilient. Unless you do a lockdown with the National Guard and the police officers, they are going back to party. You could just have gotten done having some kind of terror attack on a specific part of the land, and the people, as soon as they open it up, are going to be right there doing TikTok videos. Real talk. I want to get into this other part of the show real quick. And then I'm going to continue to read super chats. I want to talk about what's happening with this transition. All right. So there's multiple reports and there's a lot of complaints coming out of the White House and the Trump administration saying that Biden is basically burning this thing down. One of the things that he's done is he's signed a drill ban. We'll get there shortly. Let's talk about it.
Look, let's stay in the US quickly now. And Joe Biden has issued a sweeping ban on offshore oil and gas drilling in his final days in office.
Thank you,
US
Mrs.
President
Minka.
announced an 11th hour executive action banning further oil and natural gas development on more than 625 million acres of US coastal and offshore waters. Now, Louise, Biden's called this a win for climate change, but Trump's team, I think, rightly points out it could keep energy costs very high over there.
Well, of course it will. And he knows Trump's position on renewables and how he's a fan of gas drilling. I think he said drill, baby, drill, didn't he? So this is the equivalent of someone lighting a match and throwing it over their shoulder and burning the house down as they leave the premises. It's not something he put up 6 months ago, 12 months ago, but he's doing it now just to cause issues for Trump and for the industry as well, which will have a major impact on the economy.
Why do y'all think that Biden is actually executing on a peaceful transition of power when at every turn he continues to sign I think that he's going to be signing things on January 19th. 12 days from now, Biden will still be setting up the Trump administration to have to be wading through all of the trash that he's done over the last 4.5 years. Real talk. This is not a peaceful transition of power. This is sabotage. He's sabotaging the American people. He's sabotaging himself. He's sabotaging his legacy. He's trying to sabotage the Trump administration. It's not going to work. And he's doing all of the worst things that's not going to be ideal for us. If you know that the American people voted a certain way, why are you trying to set them up to fail? You already old. Your time is up. You have no more plays. Nothing else left. But then again, we got to be mindful that we're not even sure that Biden is even really all there, are we?
Kel, you know, it's his legacy move, he says. He wants to give something to the climate change fanatics, but voters didn't vote for this at the election.
Exactly. And I've been trying to work this out. It looks to me, as far as I can work it out, like an empty gesture. Because this is just an executive order. The next executive, the next president, the next bloke to slip his shoes underneath the Resolute desk in the Oval Office just issues another executive order reversing it. So it's only going to be in place for less than 2 weeks.
So why would he do it? Why would he sign something in place that's only going to be in place for 2 weeks? This is what Trump had to say about the difficulty in working with the Biden administration with his transition.
President-elect Trump is claiming that President Biden is making the White House transition difficult.
I want you to listen to this. This is Trump. Listen to this.
They'll do everything they can to make it as difficult as possible. You know, they talk about a transition. They're always saying, oh, no, we want to have a smooth transition from party to party of government. Well, they're making it really difficult. They're throwing everything they can in the way.
I want to bring in CNN's Caitlin Collins. She's covering all
And
this.
I've been saying this for weeks. I've been saying this for weeks that this is going to be a very difficult transition. Once I found out that Trump had won the election, ain't no way in the world that they was going to actually play nice.
Caitlin, how is the president-elect reacting
to
this
I'm gonna read
specific day? And why is he saying what he just said?
Well, Wolf, I'll note that comment there from Trump stands in pretty stark contrast to obviously his own actions 4 years ago that are the reason today got so much coverage. Typically, it was a day in elections past that didn't warrant a lot of attention, but because of what happened 4 years ago and Trump's effort to make the transition process quite difficult, to say the least, are the reason that there was such a reflection on what happened then and how today went. I mean, today's process lasted about 30 minutes. Last year, it took about 14 hours. Because, of course, they had to pause as rioters were storming the Capitol, and that came after weeks of Trump trying to sow doubt about the election and trying to overturn the results, which ultimately was unsuccessful. But on the effort about Biden trying to block his transition, as he alleged there, trying to make it more difficult, as he said. That's not a comment that his incoming chief of staff, Susie Wiles, echoed when she was speaking with Mark Caputo in an interview for Axios. She said that actually working with the Biden team had gone quite smoothly. We've seen some of those briefings getting underway. But Wolf, this comes as Trump is looking at today and seeing this as just one step closer to regaining power on January 20th and making those plans for what that's going to look like, and also just how differently Washington is going to be shaped when he comes here. I mean, you heard from John Curtis there, the newest senator from Utah, speaking to Manu. That is one voice who will certainly be someone to watch over the next few years, but he sounds very different than a lot of his Republican colleagues in the Senate, many of whom who were critical of Trump on that day are certainly not so now, Wolf.
Caitlin, on another sensitive issue, we've learned that the former leader of the Proud Boys is now asking President-elect Trump for a pardon for his role in the Capitol riot. Tell us about that. What are you hearing?
Yeah, this might be one of the most notorious defendants and ultimately who was convicted because of his actions on that day, Enrico Tarrio. He was a leader of the Proud Boys for quite some time. Obviously, they
Is that a black
showed up
guy?
in mass that day, and
Nah,
many
he
of
ain't
them
no
were
black. He might
subsequently
be.
arrested and tried and convicted for their actions on that day. He got one of the longest sentences, actually, Wolf, out of anyone on January 6th. He got 22 years that he was sentenced for on very serious charges of a seditious conspiracy that only he and a handful of others faced.
Let me say this. As a person that is a heavy MAGA supporter, I believe in making America great again. As a person that is an advocate for traditional American values, as a person that likes to look at myself is not a far-leaning right advocate and I absolutely despise the extremists. I don't know how to feel about this. And it's okay. It's okay for sometimes for us to say we don't know, right? Because I do think that the details around January 6th is murky. And I am an advocate for innocent until proven guilty. But I don't like extremists. I don't. Extremists make it difficult for regular, everyday people that actually espouse American values and want everybody to succeed. They make it very difficult for us because they're a bad representation of what we are. Do I think that he deserves 22 years in jail? Probably not. But it's very hard for me to have sympathy for these people, even as a person that considers myself conservative or on the right side and as a Republican, because they make it hard and they make it bad for people like me and for people like you, because then we have to spend more time trying to justify their dumb actions or why they was even in certain positions in the first place. Connie said he isn't an extremist. He isn't an extremist? Well, okay. Well, listen. I don't like Governor Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan. I don't watch CNN. You must be new here. I don't watch CNN. I source information from multiple different platforms, including Fox News, CNN, Newsweek, ABC, NBC. I look at everything, right? Local news, all of that. I remember when there was a conspiracy to kidnap Governor Whitmer here in Michigan. And again, I don't know about his case anyway. I'm talking about the extremist views. What I'm saying right now has nothing to do, zero to do with whether or not he should be in jail or not. Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when people espouse certain things, and I don't believe in censorship, it makes it difficult for those that are not extreme because we are then forced to defend and have conversations that we don't even want to have. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, when Governor Whitmer, which I absolutely think that she's 100% trash, there was a plot to kidnap her and do egregious things as a result of it. I think that that's wrong. I think that that is wrong. I can disagree with you, but if you won the election and you're operating based off of whatever the people is saying that they want you to do inside of the state, I don't believe that people should be plotting and getting together to think about whether or not they should kidnap Governor Whitmer. It is wrong. It is absolutely 100% wrong. Now, I don't know enough about Enrique Tarrio to be able to speak to his situation, but what I am saying is it makes it very difficult, very, very difficult. Y'all saying all of that was fabricated too? Okay, so let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question really quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Is everything fabricated that is about the right? I'm just asking because I don't know. Anytime that anybody says anything that's critical of Republicans or the right, people say that it's fabricated. Oh, no, 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 no. That was a PSYOP. That was a CIA operation. That was the FBI trying to do something against them. And it very well may be. I'm just asking a question because maybe I'm just completely out of the loop. I have never in my life, not one time, heard people that is 100% straight up staunch Republicans. I am conservative to my core. I've never heard them at no point ever hold anybody accountable in their own party. Not once. So every single thing is fabricated when the right do something that they're not supposed to do. Okay. All right. It's the Democrats. So the Democrats fabricate everything. Everything? Every single thing. Well, then that means that you bias. Because if you're not objective enough to call a spade, call a fastball, call a strike, then that means that you got to take a step back. Because now that means that you indoctrinated. Now that means that you indoctrinated. Some stuff I absolutely agree that the federal government is in on. But everything, every single thing, hmm. Wow, okay. I could be wrong. I just asked the question. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I know that y'all right on everything. It's always a conspiracy theory. It's a plot against us. Everything is a plot against us. Not some things, not most things. Everything is a plot. Got it. All right. All right. Well, I guess that's what I guess that's what the play is. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Let me read some of these super chats. And we gonna get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. I just asked the questions. My description of New Orleans is filled with stereotypes. No, it's not. I went there multiple times, and I went outside of New Orleans. I went off of Bourbon Street. I've explored. You talking about an urban explorer? Listen, the first videos that went million plus for me was urban exploration videos. I ain't talking stereotypes. Y'all full of the devil down there. Y'all need to pray. Y'all need to pray. Straight up. Don't know. Everything in the stereotype. Some stuff is true. Trump is about to give an announcement. All right. Well, we'll review that tomorrow. The happy girl says Joe Biden has always been this person who petty. Asia, what up? Asia says blessings to Anton and the family in 2025. Tickets available for the inauguration are $5,000 now. You know, people want to buy VIP tickets for the package to from the package to meet you. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about it. Sonny Holston was comparing January 6th to the Holocaust and World War. Okay, yeah, that's reaching. That's big time reaching. The Green Monster says it wasn't fabricated. It is a known fact that the FBI pushed those guys to do whatever they did. The FBI pushed those guys to do whatever they did. What does that mean? Because you can't make me do nothing that I don't want to do. Nobody can make me do anything that I don't want to do. Nobody can make me do anything that I don't want to do. Nobody on the face of this earth. The FBI pushed them to do what they was gonna do. All right, cool. Anyways, listen, I could be wrong. I always ask questions, but I could be wrong. I'm always open to it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Tomorrow, same time tonight, after hours. I'm gonna see if Mika is gonna be hosting. Eric D speaking in tongues over the segment. You know we gotta throw Eric a bone now and then. We can't leave Eric out to dry 100%. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.